This episode of Storytellers is brought to you by these fine companies.
I'm Scotty Cannon. You're watching Drag Racing Storytellers at Competition Plus TV. I told old Tommy, I said, you know what we need to do? I'd build a Wilson next year. I said, it says in the rules, no funny car bodies. I said, I wonder what that means. He said, just what it says, no funny car bodies. I said, well, what if we buy a funny car? Cut the doors and the front end all out of it. Just think how neat the doors would fit. Just think, we can build a whole car. And Tommy, I don't know if he said I was crazy. He said, man, that won't pass tech, pass rules. So I called the tech department. And I think it was Robert was the tech department. I forgot who the head guy, but it was Robert. He was over to tech, but you had to go through the president too. You just didn't go through tech like do NHRA. You had, I guess they had to, make sure it's hot. But I had won a lot, but I hadn't kicked everybody's butt real good yet. I hadn't really, I didn't know it was going to happen, but I didn't know it was going to be this good. So I called and said, what is a one-piece body? I said, what is a funny car body? And I got the same answer Tommy gave me. On him, are you that dumb? It's a one-piece fiberglass body. I said, well, so it's got to be one piece. I said, so I narrowed it down. I got them narrowed down to, if it ain't one piece, is it a funny car body? They said, if it ain't one piece and the hood comes off of it, the doors comes off of it, the deck lid comes off of it, it's not a funny car body. I said, well, the deck lid don't come off of half of these cars. He said, well, the trunk don't matter. But they told me what, I said, well, put it in writing. They put it in writing. Maybe Hayne Dominic was one of the guys that was in charge then. I'm not sure. But I had my quarrels with all of them at different times, because after that day, the rules really got slapped a bunch around with rules, which everybody kind of knows. Now, I thought it was bad times back then, but it was really probably the best times of my life. So I ordered me one, and then Tommy says, well, if you building one, I'm building one. So we both ordered two of them. Somehow or another it leaked out. Michael Martin leaked out, and Michael said, call me one night. Well, you and Tommy building next year. You got to understand, we still run this quick 8 stuff. So I'm cutting me a funny car and cutting it apart. That's what you can't tell nobody. And as far as I know, neither one of them never called a tech. Nobody never called nothing. So we took a little bit of a gamble. I said, might get there and not let us run. I said, but I got the paper right here that says a one-piece body is considered one piece. If the doors and all, they worded it just like I asked them. So we built 3 of them. Tommy's car was fast. Michael's car was fast. He had something auto parts in a yellow car. All pro or something maybe. Okay, and then naturally I had OnSat. And if I'm not mistaken, I sewed up the championship in about 5 or 6 races. But that was the best driving car. I didn't know this at the time. I can tell you now why. It was the best driving. It'd go down a dirt road. And all I'd done was, it was the same car. We didn't change the chassis. We didn't change the wheelie bar. And even Tommy says, man, you can take your hand off the steering wheel this thing in high gear. We don't know nothing about no aerodynamics and the side panels of the quarter panels being this high, rather all rounded quarter panels on the wheels ain't helping you stay straight, none. We didn't know all them funny cars that was built into them. We didn't think nothing about all that. And what we did do, and didn't really know, is the darn bodies sit so high because the funny cars run a bigger tire than we did. So we just took the body and picked the front end up and took a saw and cut the back of it off and glued the lip back on it so the body set down. But what that done was took all the wing out of it, which made it perfect. If we'd have run it like a regular funny car, it'd have killed a mile an hour. Because, pro stock, and back then we didn't have big wings. Well, it had that big deck lid, but it was about flat. It made the perfect race car, I'm just telling you. If somebody said, what would be your car you'd go run right now if you was running 80 RL, and they let you do it, you'd be stupid not to build that car. To this day, to go get your alcohol funny car body, first you can get the nicest composite, lightest weight, cleanest, neatest looking thing there is. But the guys that don't like funny cars, they ain't gonna like your car. And the guys you kick in their rumpa-dump, they ain't gonna like your car at all. And you can make that car have as much side downforce as you want, as much back as you want with the lips, as much on the sides as you want, in the front. We didn't know nothing about lips around the front fender wells at that time. We didn't have a clue. But we had them on our car. And guess what? Them 3 cars, if you run Scotty, Michael, or Tommy, you was going home. And we hated running each other. And we all 3 knew why. But needless to say, the next year, the same chassis that was under the, I think you may have been the one named it the Luma Glass. They threw my car out that year, but said we could run them the rest of the year, and we couldn't. So I come out with a Corvette. I think it was I forgot what model, maybe 93 or 4 or something like that when they was kind of popular. And I won't never forget it. Everybody said, you know, I've seen a lot of cars Tommy Mauney's built, but that's got to be one of the ugliest ones he's ever built. Talking about my Corvette, and that's why he said the roll bars set right in front of where you look out of. I said, nah, this is the same chassis it was under my my funny car, bodied car, y'all call it. And so there you go again. That was another thing we didn't take into consideration. His car wasn't but about this much narrow on each side. So think about how much littler, smaller car that was. And then it being just enough wedge shape to drive. I mean, I'm telling you, if somebody was having trouble, I'll never forget, was maybe New York had the big bump. And if you hit that bump, you was in trouble. And I'll never forget it. No, we wasn't there. I'll tell you exactly what we was at Darlington. And it's when I first had my car. It was the first race of the year. And there wasn't nobody running because of the dew and Raising Cane. I think my man Roy had done turned his car over in Pro Stop maybe or something, I ain't sure. I did see my boy running one over. I turned him, I wrecked him too. But anyway, everybody said, want to get together and protest, not run, get a run tomorrow. We're going out there. Oh, Tommy, right out there. Michael Martin, right out there. Number 1 qualifier, top ET, speed record, everything. Scotty Cannon. I didn't want to run tomorrow. I wanted to run tonight. It dew falling too. I could lean that thing down about 5 or 10 numbers, put me a degree of timing in it. I'd try to burn that water in there. We're going to let her hang out. I let the rods hang out of it, but we did it. But the body was the reason they went down the racetrack. I look back on some of the stuff we done. So that's one of the lucky things, So to answer your question, that's some of the lucky stuff fell into my lap. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. But that's one of the aids to my success, I guess you would say, that was one of the luck things. It sure wasn't skill.